let's kick this one off. Let's get ready to go. It's going to be Evilo on offense. And TD, you mentioned, this is a clash of styles. Fancy, very much the new school attitude, looking to air it out, big plays. Evilo is going to slow this game down.
Exactly. He's going to pound the rock and try to play defense. If he can kick field goals and play defense, he's happy with that. You're going to see him in this Las Vegas Raiders offensive playbook.
I already used my one pause.
One of the most popular playbooks in the game. He's going to run a lot of trips tight end. He's going to pass a little bit, but he's going to look to audible down to be balanced with the run game as well.
As these guys get started, got their audible set depth charts ready to go, and we're finally ready for some game action. Evilo's going to audible down to the I form and go to a little run play out of I form, a Madden 20 throwback from Evilo.
Yeah, a little I-form stretch right there. That's Evilo's game. And, you know, I think a lot of people think Fancy is the favorite in this, rightfully so, one of the hottest players in the game. But with Evilo, he has that experience that we talked about. And the thing with Evilo is he's not going to get blown out, usually. With his style, the way he slows it down, it's usually going to be a competitive, low-scoring game.
And stepping left, all sorts of time. And he'll throw this one away. TD, it was interesting when we were back calling all these club games. We had a nice mix of quarterbacks. You saw your Brett Favre's, your Josh Allen's. Now it seems like it's pretty much a Rich Gannon-dominated quarterback field.
Primarily Rich Gannon. He's got that hot route master ability, so he's able to put receivers on all different types of hot routes in Madden 21. He also has that gunslinger ability, so he can throw some faster passes with velocity. Probably the best ability in Madden 21.
3rd and 5 for Evilo. Looking for a curl
Let's
route.
go early,
It's picked
baby.
up by Peters.
Early,
What a way
baby.
to start the game.
Come on.
And Fancy
Marcus
is going to
Pete.
put 6 on the
Marcus
board.
Pete.
The
Oh.
defense stepping up,
Early.
picking off Evilo and start things on the right foot for the 21-year-old from Dallas, Texas.
166. Let's go.
Third play of the game, and Fancy gets a pick six. Marcus Peters, Evilo tried to throw the curl route with a low ball, but Fancy was all over it with that one step ahead ability, and he takes it to the house.
There's one thing TNC knows how to do, is stop curl routes, because they run them. They love them curl routes. Take a look at our Snickers intercepted replay. It's also a Snickers touchdown replay. It's Peters to the house.
Yeah, like you said, those curl routes, TNC knows them well. Fancy all over it. He takes it to the house, and that's a great way to start. We talk about it so many times, Nick, but you always want to be on defense to start, and anytime you can get that stop, especially in the first 3 plays, and take it for a touchdown, that's huge.
Yeah, when you can go up 7-0 and the offense hasn't even had to get on the field yet, that's got to take a lot of pressure off for the youngster. 2nd and 11. Gannon waiting, looking. There's just nowhere to go right now. Fancy's got him in a box.
And this is a tough spot for Evil because he's not known for his offense. This is a game he does not want to play. He doesn't want to play from behind. He wants to play with the lead and play defense. So now already again in another 3rd down situation, and it's already a critical point in the game for Evil.
3rd and 11. 3 wide to the left side of that trips tight end formation. Bo Jackson on the right hip of Rich Gannon. Moss will motion over to the right side. 2-man rush from Fancy. He's comfortable playing coverage, and there's just, it looks like a cold night. There's a blanket out there. How about another pick? Call Evilo, Barnes and Nobles. He's throwing books all over the place.
It's getting ugly quick out here for Evil. Straight coverage, man coverage, only rushing 2 guys. He had all day in the pocket, but Fancy had perfect coverage, and Evil just panicked a little bit. He thought he might have had him, and then he just steps right in front with Sean Taylor. And now Fancy already up 7-0 and almost in the red zone with the ball.
Ball's at the 23-yard line. 2 drives, 2 picks thrown by Evilo. At least this time it didn't go for a touchdown. Evilo can try to lock up defensively. As this is TD for our new viewers out there. This might be the most important part of the game for Madden players. Setting those quick audibles, setting their depth charts, making sure everything is ready to go.
No doubt about it. You see Fancy, he's doing a lot of adjustments. So he's subbing in some running backs at receiver so he can audible around as we take a look at this Madden Championship Series tweet. Yeah. Make sure you guys are tweeting us so you can potentially be on the broadcast.
Yeah, make sure you're using that hashtag Madden Club Championships. You can see your tweet on the broadcast, and we're also going to be selecting a few lucky people to win MUT items made up of Team of the Year players. Twitch chat, make sure to stay active because we'll be giving out a few items to randomly chosen viewers throughout the night. So an opportunity to add to your binder with some pretty great item. So make sure, again, you're using that hashtag Madden Club Championship. Tweet out your thoughts, and we might read your tweet here on the air. 2nd and 8 for Fancy. Over the middle, that's open, and there's that prime time we talked about.
There's that playmaker ability. You saw it right there. It was a slant to the right, playmaker and back to the left. Absolutely torched the man-to-man, and Fancy is cooking early.
Already down to the 5-yard line. Jacob Worthington, Dallas, Texas native. Dominant win over Q in that Cowboys club final, which is always one of the toughest clubs just to get through. There's so many goons out there in Dallas. 1st and goal. He's got Cooley and Waller split to the left side. He's going to run a stretch to the right, and Bo Jackson stopped in the backfield.
Good defense right there by Evil. User turbo rush up the middle right there. Some of the best stretch defense you can find. And that's a good stop because it forces him back to the 8-yard line. Like we've talked about a million times, it gets so difficult to score in the red zone. That's always the goal on defense. Force your opponent in the red zone, get them to kick threes. So if Evil can get a stop, he's hanging around. But this is a big time next 2 plays here.
A 3-wide set for Gannon under center. Bo Jackson in the backfield. Gannon will give it to Bo Jackson. Oh, he gets lit up at the 5-yard line, gets back the 3 he lost on the prior play. Big 3rd down here.
The old man showing a little bit of stick skills right there. First of all, I was going to say nice user tackle, and then he hits him with a hit stick. Really nice defense by Evil O.
Waller comes in motion from right to left, and it's going to be a stretch for Bo. And right now, how about Evil O locking up defensively? Interesting play calling there from Fancy. 3 run plays, didn't look particularly comfortable inside the 10-yard line.
Great point, Nick. You know, Fancy known as a passer, one of the best passers in the world. Seems like he didn't have a lot cooked up inside that red zone. Maybe didn't lab up any red zone passes. Goes with 3 straight runs. He's fine with taking that because he goes up 2 possessions. But for Evil O, that was big because he stays in this thing. But for Evil O, now it's got to be about that offense. He's known as that defensive player, but so far his offense has looked ugly.
JD, the interesting part is, you know, you always talk about the way the game flows. And so many times we see those tackles, like in the NFL, they get tackled at the 5 or the 1-yard line off a big run. You go, oh, that doesn't really mean anything. They're going to punch that one in. It's so hard to score in the red zone, though. That's where those sort of plays can really change the game because 3s instead of 7s is massive.
Exactly. We've seen it in so many tournament games that we've called. Those red zone appearances where you don't get 6 or 7 can be deciding factors in the ball game.
Zay.
Run for Bo, nowhere to go. And you know, for a lot of these players, especially a guy like Fancy, so competent offensively, he seems much more comfortable playing from like the 40-yard line than he would inside the 10, just with all that space.
Exactly. The more field, he feels like he's more comfortable. He has some of the best route combos. He loves that spacing, like you said. And this is looking rough right now for Evil. There is absolutely nothing open.
Stock man, like bro. Okay.
And you want to talk about the impact of abilities? Those 1-steps, they're making plays. 3rd and 15 for Evil O, the veteran, back-to-back Giants Club champion, Gannon. There's nowhere to go. It's a road that ends in a dead end. There's literally nowhere to go. He's hoping for some sort of bounce, and he's gonna get sacked. And who else but Peters, who had a big play earlier with a pick 6? He gets a sack and forces a punt.
Just straight man-to-man across the board, and Evil O has no answer at all for it. You got to think Evil's been in the lab knowing this was coming, and he just looks very. He just looks not comfortable at all, and Fancy, and then a terrible punt. This is a disaster right now for Evil.
18-yard punt on that one.
It's just a disaster right now, Nick, for
What's
Evil O.
What's the opposite of a punt, Dom? Punt.
A punt
Line
failure?
Yeah.
I mean, that was bad.
He just barely picked up the first down with that punt. Wasn't pretty. 1st and 10, Fancy, great field position once again. Gannon. He'll throw this one away. Good defense from Evil O.
Yeah, good defense right there. Man-to-man, he manned up that streak that he motioned over. I thought Fancy was going to try to hit that streak, but Evil O did a great job to counter it. Goes to 2nd and 10.
Oh, he doesn't have acrobat.
6 hours of Madden action today. 6 games, 5 hours, or 6 hours, depending on what happens. You never know. We might have multiple overtimes. Nonetheless, it's a great time to be a fan of competitive Madden. We're so happy to have you along with us. 2nd and 10. Gannon steps right. He'll take a sack. Once again, good defense. White in there. TD, this man coverage, is this unbeatable?
Oh, it's so good. Madden 21, and especially in Madden Ultimate Team, has really become a defensive game with how good man coverage is with some of these defenses that we're seeing, like nickel double A gap, nickel 3-3-5. It's very difficult. And those acrobat and one-step abilities, it just makes it supremely difficult to beat that man-to-man. That's why you need an ability like Playmaker, as you see right there.
He can't move, bro.
Decision time for Fancy. See what he decides to do. He's going to bring out the field goal unit, and you can't blame him. Because right now, if you're Fancy, you're feeling like he's not going to put up any points, let alone 13.
I like the decision, too, and you heard from Fancy right from his mouth. He said he can't move at all on offense. So I'm going to take my points, I'm going to get back on defense, and potentially cause another turnover.
13-0 the score, 3:51 to go in the 2nd quarter. So for the people at home, I know there are a lot of people, myself included, maybe they're playing weekend league, maybe they're playing head-to-head seasons, whatever it is, that are facing the same problem. What do I do against man coverage? Is the answer Playmaker? Is there another ability that people should be adding to their squad?
Without a doubt. I think that is the #1 ability right now for a receiver if you want to beat that man-to-man coverage, because it's so dynamic. If you can, like we saw Fancy do it right there on that 3rd down. Is able to cut to the left and beat that man. Now for Evilo, 1st down, great decision. He's trying to pass too much on those last couple drives. Go back to what you're known for. Run that ball a little bit and stay balanced.
Oh.
And the tough part is, unlike Madden 20, which I know a lot of people don't want to go back there, but unlike Madden 20 where the run game was wide open, that's not the case here in 21. It is tough to run the ball.
It is. It's really tough. The other thing, too, is Evilo sticking with Alvin Kamara at receiver. I don't know if he can get that separation versus this man. Maybe eventually see him sub in a 3rd receiver there.
3rd and 5. Can Evilo pick up a 1st down, maybe? Stepping left with Gannon. Dancing around to the pocket. He's got all sorts of time. Late throw. He's past the line of scrimmage. It technically would have been it's going to be OPI. He's not even past the line. They're calling offensive pass interference. TD's 2nd time in 2 weeks we've seen the flag come out for offensive pass interference.
Crazy. You'd never really see it. Such a tough break for Evil right there. He got a little wild, freestyled, made something happen, but unfortunately backs him up into a difficult 3rd and 15.
Gannon.
Nothing's open. Nothing's
Late throw
ever
picked
open.
off. It's L'Jarius Sneed.
Nothing is ever open. There hasn't been one open player this whole game. Literally not one on any play.
Fancy's feeling confident with the defense on the field.
Fancy is feeling it, and rightfully so. I mean, this is an absolute bag. It's a cage. It's a box. Whatever you want to call it, whatever emojis you want to put, it is rough right now for Evilo on offense.
1st and 10. Gannon does that Playmaker. It's primetime. Interesting thing coming in on online ladders, TD. Evilo, out of the final 32, was the #1 rushing offense. 97 yards per game. We haven't even seen him really run the ball at all.
No, we haven't. I think he's run it 3-4 times maybe, and one of those he had a decent run. That's more of his style, and Madden 21 doesn't really fit his style. It's more of a passing game. It's very difficult to run the ball. It's difficult to play offense in general, and especially in MUT here, but it definitely doesn't suit his style, but that's no excuse. I know he's been in the lab, and he's got to try to get something going because this could be an absolute shutout by Fancy.
13-0 in the 2-minute warning. But TD, this is a game that feels like it's like 42-0.
Yeah, it does. And you see for Fancy, when he's passing, he's kind of in a box too. There's not a lot open, but that Playmaker that we talked about is the only thing he really has right now that's beating Evil's defense, and it's been Fancy's defense that's allowing him to get these points on offense.
Fancy #1 out of the final 32 in offensive yards per play. He likes to find the big play. He might have him. End zone. 84. Randy Moss.
Oh my God.
Was that Randy? Was that Santana Moss in the back of the end zone? What a catch from the other Moss, the forgotten Moss.
That was Santana Moss, and you're going to see a lot of guys now going to have the Moss twins on their roster. Santana and Randy out there. That was Santana. What a great play right there by Fancy.
Tyler, excuse me. I have to hop in here. We might call that one not a roster, but we might call that a monster. Hey, Q, I'm here all night. So user's going to hop in and take my job? Is that what it is? Take a look one more time. Santana Moss wide open.
Yeah, crossing route. He motioned it over to get that boost. And Evil's user was just completely lost. You see Fancy starting to build a little of that confidence. Throws an absolute laser to open the floodgates.
Well, let's see if Evil O can find some offense. Put the O in Evil O. Look at left side. He finds Tony G and almost picks up a first down. He'll get 9.
And there we go. First completion of the game for Evil O. 1 for 8, I believe, right now. 3 interceptions. So it's tough right now. This is the drive of the game for Evil O right now. To stay alive in this ball game, you need 7 right here.
Corner route to Gonzalez. That one, what a click on from Fancy. Excuse me, he is 1 of 7 for 9 yards and 3 picks.
Father time, I'm getting old. I can't read anymore. Just like Evil O out here on offense. I like that combo, though. He's finally starting to cook. But the lob pass, I thought if he maybe bullet passed that, he could have got it in there. Picks it up right there.
And it looks like Evil O's picked up his first down of the game. And that may not seem like a lot, but that could just get a little bit of confidence rolling for the 34-year-old.
Yeah, those tight end drags, he might have found something a little bit here. It's not too much, though. He's going to go back to that tight end corner route here.
Ooh.
Well covered and prime time on prime time crime. Crime time.
Yeah, this is tight man coverage. This is not Evil O's style. He's not known as making the best reads. Everything is bagged right now. He's got to start freestyling a little bit, make something happen.
Look at the 2 X factors activated on the outside. It's going to make things even tougher. He's challenging him, and Moss with the catch. That one was Randy. How did he find any space out there?
Big time throw. He went with that skinny post on the outside to Randy Moss. He just torched the man-to-man. That's all it was. Smart road to the post. Big time throw from Evil. He needed that.
Under a minute left. 1 timeout left for Evil O. X Factors now turned off. Gannon in trouble. He'll just throw that one away.
Yeah, tight coverage again. He tried to wait for that playmaker, but Fancy, great job using it. He watched the playmaker to Dion at receiver, and Evil had no choice but to throw it away.
Gannon. Tony G. Man, we talk about how much variety there was in the quarterback position. Right now, the tight end position. How many great tight ends are there available for the people at home?
Oh, so many. There's some goons. You got Jermichael Finley out there. You got George Kittle. There's so many great tight ends. Tony Gonzalez. I like what Evil's doing now. That route combo he had. I thought he might have had the skinny post again there, but he able to check it down to the drag.
Darren Waller, Chris Cooley. I mean, the list goes on and on. As Evil O will use his final timeout down to the 14-yard line, knocking on the door.
This is big right here for Evil because 3 points is really not going to do much. You're going to have 2 plays here, maybe 3, depending on if you get a little risky. But he needs a touchdown. He really does.
First and 10. Trips tight end for Evil O. Finally putting together a nice drive. Gannon. Waiting, looking, and he'll go out of bounds. No gain on the play, 12 seconds left.
Yeah, it's a tough decision here. You got to think Evil's going to go for it, but look, you can't take a sack. A sack will end the half. This has got to go to the end zone, or you got to get out of bounds, or you have a chance of getting no points.
Second and 10. For Delaware Blue Hen, Rich Gannon. Long time Viking, played for the Raiders. Throws one away 6 seconds. And Evil O's going to take his 3 just to get some points on the board.
Oh, I gave up that post, man.
He's left with no choice here. It's tough because 3 points doesn't do a lot here, but he has no choice. He's got to take the 3, and he's going to be down 17 at half.
Was nice just to put a drive together, get something on the board, break up that shutout, and Fancy will take this out of the end zone. And and run that clock down to 0. So we'll go to the second half. It's 20-3 right now. TD, this one is a weird game. It has been Fancy's defense setting the tone.
Yeah, it's really just getting ugly out there for Evil. Fancy's defense is playing lockdown. I mean, there's absolutely nothing open. He hasn't had to do much on offense. That defense so far riding him to this potential win.
Halftime in this one, so let's check in with Katie Emmer, who I hear is ice fishing in Bemidji.
I don't know if I could get signal up there. That's quite cold. In a bit warmer setting, though. Thank you, Nick. Apex fans, January 30th and 31st, the Apex Legends Global Series Winter Circuit showcases the best Apex players in their regions as they go head-to-head to compete for their share of a $750,000 prize pool. Coverage starts Sunday at 9:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stay tuned to twitch.tv/playapex to catch all of the action. And a reminder, there's more NFC East divisional action following this game. It's Madden NFL 18 Club Championship winner Ghost taking on the youngest competitor left in the tournament, the young phenom Henry. You won't want to miss that one. Nick and TD, we'll send it back over to you.
Katie, thank you so much. 20-3 at the half, TD. And if you're Evil, the worst part about all this, it's been a bad game, but the worst part is Fancy's getting the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, it's a tough break. The thing I do know about Evil, and I've known him a long time, is he's a fighter. He's gritty. He's not going to give up. You see him. He's still locked in. He's looking for an answer. He's trying to figure something out, and it starts with getting a defensive stand here to open the second half.
Sanders picks up a couple. Only 3 rushes for Barry Sanders. For Fancy, he's not really a runner. He wants to air it out of that trips tight end. And so far, TD, the offense hasn't had to do a whole lot. It's been a lot of short fields.
Exactly. Evil O's played great defense. It's just his offense has been hurting him. For Fancy, he's had a couple dots when he needs to. He's relied on that playmaker a lot. You got to think he wants to use a little bit of this clock here, but that's not really his style. I expect him to air it out again on the 2nd and 9.
4.5 to go. You see Fancy already using a lot of that play clock, running it down, shortening the game. As Sanders gets up and gets back down. How about the legend Sahil, the social media manager for Pavin? What a great job he does. His Fancy looking extremely composed going into the second half. Again, use that hashtag Madden Club Championships. TD, I need that man working for me. He's got to help me out.
Oh, he's the best, man. That guy is so good at what he does. And he makes a great point, too, as we see a potential big pick.
Picked off. It's Woodson. We said Woodson was key for Evil O, and he'll put the first touchdown on the board. 4 words, Tyler Davis, throw out of sack.
The throw out of sack, and what do we know about Evil O? This is a guy that's never going to quit. He's a fighter. He's gritty. To start the second half, he gets a pick 6, and he puts himself right back in the ball game.
20-10. The score, the first, listen, the door's not wide open, but it's certainly cracked, and Evil O now has life. And let's take a look at that one more time, TD. The pressure on Gannon causes a pick.
Pressure off the right side, and there's that Rod Woodson, my Mutt player to watch, gets a huge pick 6 to get Evil O back in this ball game, and he's going to have to rely on that defense to give him a shot here.
Let's bring in the third man, chiming in, the user. One great user. This game felt totally different. That pick, it sort of makes it feel a little closer right now. Evil O's got a shot.
Absolutely, Nick. That was big for him. Both of them have been struggling offensively. And, you know, I was already kind of weary when Evil O came into this game running that trips tight end, because we know Fancy and J-Wall is one of the best at running it. So you assume that, hey, they're going to have good defense doing it. And that's what Evil O needed. Really, their defense, him giving up those turnovers to Fancy is really what got him down in this situation. I feel like if he hasn't turned the ball over, run the clock, and make sure he just manages his game well, he can get himself back in this game, because Fancy hasn't really been, you know, airing the ball out like we expect him to do. So as long as he can play good defense, get one more stop, get himself in this game, you never know. TD's saying he's too old. I don't know. I think he can do something. But that's a doubt.
TD, is he too old? I don't know if I heard too old. I just heard old.
I mean, User showing love for the old heads. I love it. But User does make a great point because, look, I think if Evil would have just punted on all of his drives, he'd probably only be down, what, 3 points right now? Instead of, he basically gave 3 points to Evil. So if he would have just ran the ball 3 times and punted, he's probably not down by 10 right now. So those turnovers are really the difference.
Correct. You know, you just can't be out there giving up 3 points, especially to a player like Fancy. You know, I'm not too sure if he focused on his offense or defense. I felt like he really, me watching the game, I think Evo really focused on his defense because he's been playing great defense versus Fancy. We know Fancy is real high power, and he's only scored really one offensive touchdown, and he came off the post to cover the playmaker. He should have just gave up that underneath and kept making Fancy earn it. He would have possibly held him to 3 instead of giving up that 7.
Yep.
Top-notch analysis from our man, one great user.
Bad.
That was a touchdown if I've ever seen one, TD, and it bounced off his own lineman.
Yeah, that was a game-changing tackle right there for Evil because giving up 3 compared to 7 is huge on this drive. That was the wide-open seam. Evil is very fortunate.
3rd and 6. Sanders and Kamara to the left side. Moss in motion over to the right side. Oh, we might have him on that fade. Nope, he's going to throw it over the middle, take the safe throw, pick him a first down to prime time.
I thought he had both guys. I thought he had the tight end crosser. I thought he had the motion route that you said, and then he just checks it down to that playmaker. So great offense right there. Evilo getting a little risky, trying to bring a little heat in that desperation mode. Fancy taking advantage, and now you see Fancy using all this clock as well, doing a great job on this drive.
Back to the I-form. Looks like a little I-form pro. Bury at the top of the I and just give it to him and let the former Oklahoma State Cowboy rumble. Picking up 5.
And that was big, too, because he got tackled at about 29 on the game clock, which was under the 30 on the play clock. So now he's able to take this whole 3rd quarter. Great clock management here by Fancy.
Put your 4s up in the chat. We got 5 minutes to go. This sleeper has suddenly turned into a little bit of an eye-opener. It's 20-10, Fancy on top, but Evil O's pick 6 keeps him alive. 2nd and 5. Back into the I-form. Moss to the right side, Sanders to the left. Barry Sanders up the middle. So we got like 2 Sanders on offense. We got 2 Mosses. Can we get some different last names out there, folks?
I know, right? Santana Moss, Randy Moss, Barry Sanders. We got prime time on both sides of the ball. That just shows you these are the best players in mud, and these guys are trying to win $150,000. They're putting the best players out there on their field.
Moss is over to the left side. A little RPO action. He'll give it to Bo Jackson. He'll get 3.
And this really right here is the ball game for Evil. Like I said a few minutes ago, he has to hold Fancy to 3. You cannot give up 7 and go down 17. It's do or die time for Evil. Can his defense stand up for him?
Clock bleeding away. We're going to go under the 4-minute mark. 2nd and 7. If you're Fancy, you're not even thinking touchdown. You're thinking just pick up a first down and be able to milk more of this clock. Back to Bo we go. Another 5.
Bo Jackson, no one better to give it to in this type of situation. He's always going to fall forward. He's that big body, great speed too, and puts himself in a manageable 3rd and 3. I expect the same call. This is going to be either a dive or stretch again.
I don't know if you saw who's on the tackle there. How about Leroy Glover? Day 1 item, still out there on defense. Stretch run. Bo Jackson, walk it in. Too easy on the outside for the 21-year-old. Jacob Worthington extends the lead.
Fancy with the put-away drive. Stretch to the outside on 3rd and 3 to go up 17, and that is most likely the dagger here in our first match of the night.
Look at that, TD. 11 plays, 85 yards, 5.5 minutes off the clock. Just clinical. What a response to throwing that pick 6.
And it doesn't get better than that. He threw the pick 6, came right back as we take a look at the replay, goes to the outside on that stretch, untouched into the end zone.
And that one should wrap this up, but you never know inside the game of Madden. Coming up next, what might be the marquee matchup of the first round, not just in the NFC, but in the first round in general. The Madden 18 club champion Ghost takes on Henry, who not only is the youngest competitor, but he's competed in 5 MCS Majors, TD, he's qualified for all 5 live events.
100% is Henry. 5 for 5 at 17 years old. This is only his 2nd season competing. The kid is phenomenal. What can you say? And as we see Evil taking a shot here, nothing to him. But yeah, Nick, to your point, that matchup coming up, I think is the best matchup in all the first round. NFC, AFC, I cannot wait for that one.
Don't forget, not only has he qualified for all live events, he already has a runner-up to his name with that performance at the Madden Classic last year. So this is somebody who is, they call him a phenom, TD, and it's not overstating it.
Not at all. He's talented, and it's not just offense. It's offense and defense. He adjusts throughout the game. The kid is great. I can't wait to see him perform on that big stage.
A tough competitor, though, in Ghost. Not easy to go up against a former belt winner. 4th and 10 for Evilo. Trying to throw that curl route. This time he's able to pick up the first down with it.
Staying alive. We saw him throw that earlier for a pick 6. This time he had the position. He's able to click on, make a nice possession catch. Clock really starting to work against him, though. I'd expect him to, if he can get into field goal range, take his 3, save those timeouts, and try to get a stop on D.
First and 10. Gannon. And right side, there's Tony G once again. Big number 88 rumbles for a gain of 8.
Little drag route to the tight end. That's really the most success Evilo's had. He's thrown that 3 times now. That drag route getting good separation. He should have went to that a little bit earlier in the game. He didn't really see that until that second half. That's been his best play on offense.
Should be the final play before the 2-minute warning. Somebody snaps this one. And he will. 2-man rush from Fancy, looking over the middle of the field, that's picked off. Allen lurking, and there goes down the other way. Inside the 40, 35, down to the 32-yard line. Rich Gannon throwing the hit stick. Oh, big play for the quarterback.
Little hit stick right there from Rich Gannon. Impressive stick work again by Evil, but I think he just pressed the wrong button on that pass. He's just, you know, it's do or die. Desperation time, you're trying to make a play, hit the wrong button. Fancy gets the pick, and that'll just about do it.
Guys, get excited for a special presentation of the Pro Bowl Madden NFL 21 edition presented by Verizon. A Pro Bowl game unlike any other, airing right here on our EA Madden NFL Twitch channel. See Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray lead their 2 teams of fellow NFL stars and celebrities as they go head-to-head in the game of Madden. Don't miss out on that one right here on the EA Madden NFL Twitch channel. 3rd and 9. Back to Bo. He's got a first down. Run this clock down, TD. We've seen Fancy play 2 games in front of the cameras, 2 lives. He has won them by a combined score of 65-13.
Impressive. And a lot of people think he's next up to win a belt. He's in that conversation. And with these 2 performances in the Cowboys Club Finals and here in the final 32 of the whole tournament, he's looking very good, especially with that defense. We know how good he is on offense, but if he continues to play defense like that, he's really going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, that is all knees and GGs in the chat. Fancy will move on to the next round. He will pocket an additional $7,500, and he'll get a chance to battle that winner of that Ghost and Henry game. Cannot wait for that one. What a performance. It was all about the defense for Fancy, a dominant 27-10 win. Ty, this is why a lot of people have Fancy on their belt watch.